If you're old enough to remember cassette tapes, you're definitely familiar with something like this. A cheap, black plastic boombox. But what about the other side of the world? In this series we will have a look at Soviet consumer electronics. The subject of the first in the series video is this, a VEGA MP122S tape deck. Mine was made in 1992, but the production of those started back in 1987. First generation of this machine had a silver front panel with a red and blue printing. The second generation came around 1990 with a matching hi-fi system, originally including an amplifier and a record player, and a year later a CD player. And the last generation of these would come a few years later, now mostly black with a rather modern appearance, but somehow during the recording I forgot to put the lid back into the unit, so most of the video it will be naked. So what do we have here? This is the power button. Here we have tape counter. This is level meter. The button to turn on the other deck. Tape type selector. Unfortunately it is not automatic. And the double speed button, used for double speed tape duplication, or you can record in this speed and play back in this speed for higher quality. And this is the noise reduction system, which unfortunately does not work on this machine. And here is the recording level adjustment. And finally here we have headphone socket with two separate volume wheels for left and right channel. And this is a standard 3.5mm headphone jack. This says Sendazed tape head and the 3-motor direct drive. This here says magnetophone приставка, which basically means a tape deck with no internal amplifier. This here says volume and left channel, right channel. This says record level, it's in decibels. Here, like I've mentioned before, is record level adjustment, and this just says left channel, right channel. This sign means that this is just a playback deck, and this one can also record. And this sign here tells us about the double speed and about the noise reduction system. And this sign is supposed to look like this, but unfortunately it got damaged in the transport. And here is the logo of VEGA, the model number 122S, which stands for stereo. On the back side we have information, line out, line in, it's all DIN5 plugs, and serial number, and of course the power in. And on the bottom of it we just have some plates, nothing special about that. Inside we have, first of all, a diagram of all the adjustments we can make on the variable resistors. Here we have our power transformer, which is shielded. This is the control board of the left deck and of the right deck. Here is the level meter board, and here we have the main board, which is used for sound processing. The front cover, which was held by 2 side screws and 4 screws on the back. We can see 2 deck mechanisms, switches, coils for the tape deck. The tape deck mechanisms themselves are more of an electronic device, because the only mechanical part is the carriage, and the rest is purely electronic. And behind the front cover we have 2 boards for switches, a headphone amplifier board, and the view meter board, which is sealed with this pink coating. Here's the tape deck mechanism removed. That's its shielding, it's supposed to be behind, and this is the grounding wire. This is the tape head wire, and this goes to the main board. The mechanism itself is a sandwich of 2 circuit boards and a front metal part with a carriage which moves up and down to engage different modes. Here is the main drive. It has 4 coils, Hall sensors or Hall effect sensors, and a weighted rotor with a magnet inside, and with these ridges on the outside, which are used for speed control with this, basically a tape head. It is pretty heavy and it is balanced. And on the other side we just have brass tubing for the capstan. And this pot here is used to change main motor speed, to change tape movement speed. Under the front panel we have 2 more motors. Rotors can be just removed like this, Here we have almost the same stuff as under the other one, with the Hall sensors and coils. All the surrounding stuff is just to regulate speed, torque, and engage different modes of the drives. The left spindle engages with this copper plate. Disconnect it from the rotor to let it spin freely, like this. But during fast forward and rewind, both motors are used to create tension on the tape. Both tape heads in here are monolith D810. Both decks use absolutely the same mechanism, with the slight difference that this one has an electric erase magnet. All the elements inside are signed on the board, and all the chips have information on them, including model number and date of production. So navigating here will not be a huge problem. And like I've said before, information about most of the pods is on the back cover. This is the play button. This is the stop button, rewind and fast forward. And this is the pause button, which works in play, obviously. So what are the other features? We can start playing the tape. And for example, we don't really like this track, so we can skip it. And we can return to the beginning of the current track. Or we can go to the previous track if we hold this button for a second. What we can do with this auto button is, first of all, play this tape, and then we can play this tape.